Today, idtalks local. We are very excited to bring forward this topic. As you know, one size does not fit all, unfortunately, and what new open, easy and inclusive projects and initiatives could be more suitable for young people with fewer opportunities than the local ones? Why is it important to propose EU-funded local project formats, and how do they compare with the international mobility projects for young people? To talk about this, we have very special 3 guests from Lithuania joining us today. And maybe a little pre-story from our side, I think, is that we have met these amazing speakers already in person during the ID forum, and we were so fascinated by their story that we decided that they definitely have to be guests at idtalks. So yes, please welcome our guests. I will shortly present them, but then you have the opportunity to present yourselves. So with us virtually in a video will be present Daugvydas Diksa. He is an amazing young person from Panaževas. He was born with an additional copy of 1 chromosome, which probably is the reason why he's so creative, inventive, curious, and motivated to learn and enjoy life. And with his friends, they are real agents of inclusion and change, in already well known not only in Lithuania, but also internationally. With us today here on Zoom is Ieva, Kaupaitė. She is a professional youth worker as young as 25-year-old with a lot of creative and empathetic personality and experience of working with young people with intellectual disabilities. She is a change maker and also supporting young people to bring their ideas to life. And her motto, or her words saying that she is living her life with, is that of Mary Kay Ash. I find it very interesting. It says, aerodynamically, bumblebees shouldn't be able to fly, but the bumblebees don't know about it. So it goes on flying anyway. And finally, with us today is also Karolina Lipnickienė. I hope I pronounced your name right. Karolina is a project officer at European Solidarity Corps and Inclusion and Diversity Officer at the Erasmus Plus Youth Lithuanian National Agency. Trained as a researcher and policy analyst, she finds it fascinating to work with grassroots organizations and support their participation in Erasmus Plus and European Solidarity Corps programs. So with this short introduction, I would like to now pass the floor to our speakers. Karolina, please.
Thank you, Anna. Good afternoon, everybody. As Anna already introduced me, I work at the Lithuanian National Agency as project coordinator of European Solidarity Corps, and also as an inclusion officer trying to spread these programs to organizations and young people with fewer opportunities. So if you allow me, I would like to show you some slides. Can you let me know if it's okay? Yeah. So, okay, so typically Erasmus Plus and European Solidarity Corps programs are associated with transnational mobility projects. But today we would like to show you that local solidarity project is an equally good opportunity to participate in and learn. So to begin with, I would like to briefly describe what is a solidarity project and give a couple of examples of the topics that have been funded in Lithuania. So Solidarity Project is a non-profit activity initiated, planned, and implemented by young people themselves. The objective is to implement an idea and/or solve a local problem while focusing on young people competence development. To implement a solidarity project, you need to fulfill a couple of criteria. So first, you have to gather a group of minimum 5 young people between 18 and 30 years old. Also, you have to apply together with a supporting organization, which helps young people with financial accountability, signs a contract, and allows them to use their bank accounts. Project duration varies between 2 and 12 months. It is upon the choice of the project group, and grant also is based on the project duration, and it can range from 1 to 6,000 euros. The project groups are free to choose a topic they find relevant or any issue they wish to address in their local community. Here I made a little word cloud, what was the most popular topics in Lithuania throughout a couple of last years. In Lithuania, we are very proud of our young beneficiaries who took advantage of this format and implemented a number of ideas. For example, a group of dog lovers in a small town of Šilalė initiated and developed a training ground for dogs. Another group of animal lovers from Klaipėda held a social campaign inviting people to adopt pets from shelters. Also, a group of youngsters rebuilt an old barn and started an informal cinema. Project group in Vilnius repurposed a couple of rooms in the building, which previously was a prison, and started an informal youth space. Now they have a space where they can have film screenings, board game nights, karaoke nights, and other activities. Also, young people together with senior generation in Marijampolė participated in handicraft activities and developed an online shop where these items can be sold. And a final example of a few students and school children who aimed to strengthen their local community by inviting neighbors to pottery workshops and excursions. We receive actually a lot of feedback that solidarity projects are not complicated to manage. And there are a couple of points to support this statement, I would say. So first of all costs are considered eligible as long as they contribute to a project aim. So with a grant of Solidarity project, it is possible to organize a training and pay salary for a trainer. It is possible to procure some tools and equipment as long as it contributes to the project aim. Another point to add is accountability. The main requirement is to submit a final report with a description of activities implemented, main project results, and very important point, competences young people improved. So taking these 2 points into account, it is quite safe to say that Solidarity projects are quite user-friendly for first-time beneficiaries and especially young people who would like to try project coordination for the first time. Another point, another message that I wanted really to emphasize is that Solidarity projects are also a good format to involve young people with fewer opportunities. Both programs, Erasmus Plus and European Solidarity Corps, provide additional funds to alleviate barriers young people might experience, which limit their participation. So it is possible to have funds for a number of ways to include young people. For example, it is possible to cover the cost of transport for young people, maybe living in rural areas where public transport does not go that comfortably. Also transport for wheelchair use, sign language interpretation, text-to-speech support equipment, and so on and so on. Another thing is that each of the national agencies have a dedicated officer who is called Inclusion and Diversity Officer, and they focus on the ways to involve disadvantaged young people to the programs and invite their organizations to apply. So I think also it is safe to say that any Inclusion and Diversity Officer would gladly support young people in the process of applications and project implementation. And the last thing is that quite often national agencies hold trainings for solidarity project implementers, which supports and motivates them as well. Here you can see a couple of resources where you can find more information about it. And now I would like to give floor to Ieva and her team. They are representing the true success story, how local project can involve young people with fewer opportunities and give them a space for the invaluable learning experience.
Thank you, Karolina. So, hello everyone. I am Ieva, and I am a youth worker from Lithuania. And I'm so happy with my work because I have a unique possibility to work with young and very creative and energetic youngsters. I am a social worker in Jaunuolių dienos centras in GDC for 4 years now. What makes me happy in this job that simple youngsters' ideas can change the world. In GDC, young people with intellectual disabilities are generators of ideas. What I'm doing with that, I'm just help them to implement their ideas and motivate them. We always work as a team. So initially, Daugvydas and I should make a presentation today, but plans change sometimes. That's what happened. Daugvydas had to leave and he's in Germany now. In Germany, Daugvydas tests the products developed during the international project. He is so busy and very involved young man. So he asked me to introduce him and to tell his story about inclusion and diversity. Daugvydas is a nice young man. He was born with one additional chromosome. Because of that, he attended a special school. Until 2005 in Lithuania, children with disabilities studied only in special schools. The process of integration into ordinary schools has not been so easy and fast. An active process of inclusion of every child and every youngster started just in 2020. After finishing special school, Daugvydas came to a daycare institution. What does it mean, daycare in Lithuania? It means just care and small occupation in the daytime. How did the young people change the institution and attitudes? Let's follow Daugvydas and his friends, and let's discover an inclusion and diversity story. So there are several ways of inclusion: passive way, negative way, and positive way. One possibility is just to sit and to wait till other people do something with inclusion and will make changes. Second possibility is just to complain about fewer possibilities and lack of inclusion. or to become a Superman yourself and make the changes. There are 70 young people in the GDC daycare center that Daugvydas attends. Where it is in Lithuania, and kind of small but very beautiful and green city Panevėžys. And there are a lot of Superman stories at GDC. So are you ready for the story of Superman?
Story number 1.
Some time ago, most of young people were complaining they are moving not enough. They have not enough sport activities, they're passive and lazy. Most of the time, they are spending sitting on the sofa. Daugvydas got an idea to create an innovative and involving sports method. It is an easy method consisting of 8 steps. Step number 1, take your cell phone. Step number 2, go to a clock. Step number 3, set the alarm time. Step number 4, alarm. Step number 5, scan QR code. Step number 6, watch the video of the exercise. Step number 7, do the exercise. Step number 8, mark in the plan. So how the individual program look like? There is QR code for the exercise. There is a space. There you can mark the check, then exercise is done. How the exercises are made?
I do sport.
Daugvydas becomes a coach of all the GDC community. Now he's making individual sports plans to more than 100 people. Everybody's satisfied with the results. Would you like to become healthy and strong as a Superman? Ask Daugvydas and he will make an individual plan just for you. Success is guaranteed. You will quickly become stronger and healthier. Superman's word. Scan the QR code and contact Daugvydas. You can do this right now. You have 1 more minute for this. Thank you for interactions. I think Daugvydas will answer for you when he have time for this. One more story of Superman.
Story number 2.
Daugvydas is a young man who always wished to have a job and to get work experience. However, he never had a chance to be included in the labor market, maybe because of his chromosome 21. But Daugvydas got an idea to join the Solidarity Corps project, Solidarity Coffee. I am a coordinator of this project, and this project is run by young people with intellectual disabilities since 2019. It is already the third project of Solidarity Coffee. Young people are learning to become a barista and to communicate and impact the community with solidarity. Daugvydas has joined this project because he wanted to have some work experience, so he succeeded and learned a lot. How to make a delicious coffee, how to dress nicely, how to communicate with customers in cafeteria, in big youth picnics, business conferences, how to work in a team, how to plan and organize work. Planning is not limited only in sport activities. You must plan in project activity also. For example, step number 1, prepare a team for work. Step number 2, get to know about event where you go to make the coffee. Step number 3, to distribute responsibilities within the team. Step number 4, make a list of required details and products. Step number 5, prepare delicious coffee recipes. Step number 6, plan transport to the coffee event. Step number 7, plan your work outfit. Step number 8, go to the coffee event, smile, and invite to join. Of course, we also have the following challenges during the project, like COVID-19, quarantine limitations, we couldn't communicate and give people coffee at events. We just had to be home with our technologies. So we did online educations for other young people, how to make coffee, desserts, how to prepare for events. Of course, we also participated in some trainings about project implementation and so on. Urban infrastructure development. As I said, we live in a not so big but very beautiful Lithuanian city, Panevėžys. But in the last few years, the streets of our city are very limited because small streets and areas are in renovation. So we couldn't give coffee in different parts of the city. So we decided to get more involved inside other organizations, like in conferences, some meetings, and so on. Declining motivation. When you work a lot, of course, you get tired. And then you get tired, you don't want to work anymore. So we decided to give the vacation to the regular Solidarity Coffee team, and it was temporarily replaced by the other persons with disability. For this project, the community is increasingly trusting us. We see that community needs not only for us, but for us community, we also are important and necessary. The biggest community award for us is award for the best youth project at Panevėžys 2020. With this project, we have got a lot of followers on Facebook, followers on Instagram, articles on national newspapers, TV reports on national TV channels. Our Solidarity Coffee community became big. People from all over Lithuania started to come to a quite a small city, Panevėžys, just to taste Solidarity Coffee. So are you happy with Daugvydas stories? Then please support him by sending the hearts. Thanks for your interactions again. So are you ready for one more story?
Story number 3.
The story will be about volunteering. Daugvydas' friends are very involved in volunteering. You can watch how a successful Daugvydas friends Roberta volunteering.
Hello, I am Roberta. I want to tell you a story about myself. I am 24 years old. I am proud of my achievements. I am especially proud of my trip to Italy. It was not a tourist trip. No. I went as a transnational volunteer. I flew the plane for the first time. It was scary, but I overcame my fears. I took the train for the first time. I enjoyed my volunteering because I learned a lot. I have learned how to make pompons. I have learned to cook pasta in the Italian way. I have learned to make bracelets. I have learned to make hedgehogs. No, out of the old books. I have learned English. Hello. I have learned Italian. Buongiorno. I got to know Italian culture, architecture, and customs. I made friends with Italian volunteers. Chance to be the ambassador of Lithuania at the Modigliana City Festival. I became braver, much braver. I realized that volunteering is power. Now I am a volunteer at a nursing home. Making bracelets in the Italian way and giving them to my friends or GDC visitors. Such is the story of my volunteering. Goodbye.
Daugvydas had a dream to try volunteering as well. One day his dream came true. He went to Portugal as a volunteer for a social cooperative. What was most important to Daugvydas and his family is that he has the equal opportunities as his sister, who did an international internship as a student. In volunteering, of course, you can travel, you can gain more competences, but in local projects, like Solidarity Coffee, you can also travel and increase the cycle of friends, gain work skills, see different local areas, and so on. I think it's time for story number 4.
Story number 4.
Another big challenge Daugvydas faced was this commitment to make an official speech in the big international conference. So let's see how he managed it.
Hello. I was very scared and felt insecure when I was asked to make a speech at an official, important, international conference. I have speech and language issues. My language is not easy to understand. Also, people reading speeches at the conference, and I can't read. I have never, ever spoken at a conference before. But should that be an obstacle for me? I thought for a long time. Yes, I am meeting obstacles often. But I always overcame them, as well. I know what I want to say in my speech. So I decided to try, and you decide if I'm good enough. I am brave. I can dress nicely. I trust myself. Am I worse than the men I often see and hear making speeches? Am I worse? No, no. I am able to use IT. I know my strengths and weaknesses. I can advocate my friends. I can express my one opinion. Am I worse than the men I often see and hear making speeches? Am I worse? No, I am not. I am meeting with obstacles and difficulties every day. I am forced to read complicated texts. For example, for me to read such text is the same as to you to read such text. But if the text for you and for me would be written in such form, we both would be happy. For me to understand what the time is now is the same as to you to solve this formula. But you do not need to solve such a formula several times a day. At JDC I am getting all the information in easy to read and easy to understand language. But outside, I am meeting a lot of difficulties. Isn't it time to start talking not just about the universal design of the physical environment, but about an easy to read and easy to understand standard as well? Do men who make important speeches talk about it? No, they don't talk. That's what I can't talk about and take initiative and responsibility for. Did I make you think? Was my speech boring? Although I may have been bored of you, I feel special myself. I read an important speech to me. Do you have questions? Contact me.
Daugvydas is a very busy young man and he involved many projects, like you see. After all activities and projects, you must always evaluate your results in it. How to do it? Of course, with Youth Pass, but not this one. It's too hard to do it for Daugvydas. So he tried to evaluate this activity in Youth Pass, but in easy to read method way. This method of self-assessment has been developed by the GDC, by our organization, and is applicable to all youngsters. It's like helper for Fill Youth Pass. We can see Roberta example. She was in First Solidarity Coffee team. In this form, she said that after Solidarity Coffee project, she is more braver. She knows how to make a coffee with coffee machines. Now she knows that she can be a team leader. Roberta gained skills on how to put a team together on time and how to work in a team, how to present a project during conferences and so on. So most important is to be motivated, creative, and to have the aim. Then everything is possible. This was the story of inclusion and diversity from Lithuania. That was the story of the young man Daugvydas. There are a lot of success stories around. But the most important is not to be passive participant, not to be negative. The most important thing is to be active and get involved and to be change maker. So let's remember all stories about Daugvydas inclusion and diversity. Story number 1, I do sport. Never give up and create an innovative and involving activities. Story number 2, solidarity coffee. Not to be afraid to join to the initiatives. Story number 3, never stop dreaming. Dreams always come true. Story number 4, easy reading. You can always convey your ideas in the best way for you. Don't be shy. So I hope Daugvydas stories inspire you to make unreal dreams come true. And you can always contact us in social media. So thank you for attention.
Thank you so much, Ieva, Karolina, for being here today. And thank you so much for sharing the stories of true inspiration. I think I've never seen so many hearts and claps and emojis. I think you have to share this with the young people that you work with. I think they deserve the biggest part of them. And yeah, for our participants here, maybe you didn't notice before, but all the presentations that were shared today, they are online. And you can go and check them out. There is also the contact information for Ieva and for Karolina that you can also use for asking them for additional information, resources, if this is not coming in the article. Maria, do we have any comments or questions in the chat?
Yes, yeah, a lot of praises, saying great, inspiring video, a lot of hearts, as you already mentioned, Anna. And also there is a question about the youth pass. Yeah, you briefly showed that, but there are people who would like to use it as a tool themselves as well. So you said that your organization developed that. So there is a question, is it possible to share it? People are already sending their contact details, but your contact details is in the presentation as well, no? And I will share again the link to the presentation, but maybe you could say a few words about the tool you have developed for the Youth Pass?
Of course, I can share maybe with you, Maria or Anna, and you can add this near my presentation in the Google Drive, maybe? Yeah, okay, okay. So it's not like Youth Pass, it's like Youth Pass Assistant. So like I said, for our youngsters, it's a little bit difficult to fill all the information in the Youth Pass. So when we do it, we work, of course, in a team, but that assessment, Youth Pass assessment, it's a helper and for us and for youngsters to do it in easy way to see how you improve by yourself in all projects.
That's really, it's really somehow bringing back this idea that one size doesn't fit all, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It actually is a good thing because it reinforces the creativity and development of so many different tools that can assist people with so many different types of special needs and also different kinds of extraordinary possibilities and extraordinary competencies. So thank you very much for this first part of it. Yeah, Maria, you wanted to say something?
No, I was just, yeah, just a question. So it's available in English, or you have some kind of guidelines, or?
I have the form in English. Of course, I will send it for you.
Perfect, thank you.
Great. Now, as if you have been here before in the ID Talks, as the tradition goes, in the second part of the ID Talks, we are splitting our participants into smaller groups to allow you to talk a bit and share your impressions and ideas after the input of our speakers. So we will now in a minute start the breakout rooms, and you will have 10 minutes. Maybe we can extend it to 15, Maria, because I think we have enough time to talk in your smaller group with each other and bring back as a group one question, one comment, one main insight that you have after the presentation to the attention of our speakers. And then we will have a short Q&A session with them where it can be a little bit more interactive and a little bit more dynamic with your participation as participants. So we are ready to launch the rooms, I think.
Yes. Yeah, we will have 4 rooms. Enjoy your talk and see you in 15 minutes then.
Really excited to see that most of you have stayed also for the small group discussion and for now. So as the tradition goes, we will be now collecting the questions from the groups. And then Ieva, Karolina, please take some notes for yourself. So we collect all the questions from all the groups or all the comments, and then you have the time to react and to answer in whatever way you find most suitable. So please, let's start with room number 1. Who from the room would like to talk? Take the floor. Room number 1. Just unmute yourself and go ahead.
Maybe it would help if you tell the names who were in the room number 1, because personally I don't know our number.
Okay, not you, Evita, but there was Alexander,
I can
Alessandro.
tell you, yeah. Alessandro, Justa Center, Katrina, sorry, Samantha,
Okay.
Monica, Virginia.
I think I have a question from room 1.
Okay, please.
Virginia wanted to know how to adapt a solidarity project to individual participants.
Okay, how to adapt the solidarity project to individual participants, especially that these are group projects, yes, when a minimum of 5 young people should take part.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the question. Group number 2, and some of participants in group number 2 were
Anna, Ariadna, sorry for my poor pronunciation of your names. Oshrin, Burgos, Lydia, Lina.
Terry, Tessie, Birmanta. So please, room number 2, you have the floor.
I think we didn't end up with a question. I think one of the questions we did want to ask is, why do people not really listen to young people? We were trying to say that we talked a little bit about why do we see people being different when they're not different? Why do we see, if you think of the young guy, I don't know, is it Lever, when he was doing the actual presentation, I was laughing so much about when all those people showing in paperwork. And that's what happens with most young people, because what happens is adults are cowards with young people sometimes. I don't know whether that's the right word, but if you think about, I better not mention you, Tim, but you think about the people who've done what they have done to children and young people, they've walked away from it. And quite often we were asking the question, why do adults not listen to young people, but walk away? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. So if we know that it is so efficient to do something when young people speak up and when they give the ideas, why is it not happening all the time? Why do adults ignore young people and children's voices? So maybe a question a little bit beyond the scope of our topic, generally something that every youth worker asks themselves all the time. But maybe from your experience, Ieva, Karolina, you could also react to that. Maybe give some useful tips how to make that possible and happen.
But also, Anna, remember, I'm speaking for the group, so I don't know whether Lena and the rest of the guys agree with what I've said, because I try to keep things simple. And I hope the rest of the guys in the group are happy with what I've said, because I think it's important as a youth worker, when you talk to other people, that they do understand what you've said as well. So if anybody wants to sort of, from group 2, tell me if I'm rubbish from the UK, it's okay.
Oh. Now that you're an honorary participant of idtalks, so please If anybody else from the group wants to add something or to give another question, please.
Yeah, we were talking about that Solidarity Corps gives extra opportunities to young people. So this is very big added value, because without, they would not have such so big opportunity.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lina. Maybe Karolina, as a person in charge of some of these projects, could add to this as well. Thank you very much. Group number 3, what is your question or insight?
Ieva, Evita, Filippa, Concha, Njol, Ovidius, Peter Jan.
Anyone from the group, just unmute yourselves and take the floor. And even if you didn't come up with a specific question, will be still good to know what was the discussion in your group like.
I thought, Concha, you were about to ask something, but maybe you can later add if I wouldn't say it correctly. But there was a question about how can we really reach out as an aid to organizations working with young people with fewer opportunities, because there are some, a lot of NAs have already a view on which organizations to reach out to because of, for example, the mapping exercises of the strategic partnership on inclusion. But besides that, besides knowing which organizations to reach out to, it's difficult to reach them and to get them on board.
Thank you very much. I think this question is much more to Karolina's, for Karolina's answer. How do you manage? Because you shared so many success stories in the beginning. So how do you make it work? And finally, the last group, so whose name was not said yet, you are in that other group. Georgos, Inga, Irma, Raquel, and others.
Pay them €10 and they might answer you.
Not my national currency, sorry. Anyone from the group would like to just share about the discussion or ask a question? Group number 4. Please.
I will go. We really shared like our impressions from the presentation, and we are like all really impressed from Karolina's and Leva's presentations. We don't really have any question. I just wanted to ask out of curiosity for the volunteer projects. For how long were the project that the guys participated? Just out of curiosity. Because I mean, I'm also working in an association with people with disabilities, and we usually send them in youth exchanges that are shorter, and because we think that Solidarity Corps projects, they might be challenging for them because they are long projects, and I just want to ask out of curiosity for how long was the project. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the questions. I think we have heard everybody's questions by now. But if there is anyone else that has a specific question, we can always come back to this, including the question that we received before the break in the chat that we have already asked Ieva and Karolina to answer. It's a question about easy language. So please, who would like to start? Karolina, Ieva?
I can start about volunteering, the last question. Our youngsters go to volunteering for 2 or 3 weeks usually. Usually go 2 youth workers and 2 or 3 youngsters to the other country, other day center or other organization for the volunteering.
It's a short-term
Yes.
project.
Yes.
Thank you very much. about reaching out to new potential beneficiaries, Karolina.
Yes, Peter, Jan, thank you for this question. It's not an easy one, I think, and I do not feel that we do enough in this regard in Lithuania, but probably the main factor is to have resources for it and to have enough time to have a person who would be dedicated in reaching out and working specifically with making contacts with organizations who unite young people with pure opportunities. And what I am doing as an inclusion officer myself is basically trying to analyze what organizations that fit into this, let's say, definition of young people with pure opportunities, what type of organization participate in the project, how they are doing this, also showcasing like the good success stories and supporting them in partnership building activities between similar profile organizations in other countries. But yeah, the main thing I would be to analyze the status quo, and afterwards, like meeting these organizations, it is quite easy to get in touch with them. Quite often they are like very motivated and want to be involved themselves. And I'm not talking now about the organization yet that Ieva is representing. They are very active themselves, and they came to us rather than we came to them. So this is an excellent organization that has experience of over, I think, 20 years with the programs. And yeah, they could maybe comment a little bit more, because I see that there is also a director of this organization with us. But all in all, I think it comes to the resources and mapping and analysis. But that would be a nice and interesting topic to discuss among inclusion diversity officers, probably too.
Yeah, thank you very much, Karolina. I think we can also maybe, you could also, both of you, share some thoughts on why or how to involve young people, put them in the center. So how to make sure that young people themselves are empowered to initiate projects themselves, to benefit themselves from their projects.
Can I make a short comment on Karolina's speech?
Of course.
I am from the same organization as Ieva, from GDC. And as Karolina says that our young people made the first step. They were initiators. So I suppose this is, when we are talking about inclusion, this is the main key, is that people with disabilities or with few opportunities, they are making initiatives. They are trying to change the situation, what is not okay for them. Not sitting, as Ieva says, on sofa and waiting that somebody will do this for them, but they themselves doing something. So then the process is more active and more positive, and more better results we are getting from this process.
Thank you very much. Anything else that our speakers would like to add regarding the questions that we received? Maybe also to reflect a bit on this easy language, if you have some ideas on that question we received before the break.
I see the question about easy to read the method in the chat. So we use the square symbol for easy to read way. I can send the link in the chat. We do it from 2016, I think. our colleagues was involved in some project puzzle. And after this project, we everything do in this way, in easy to read way.
Mm-hmm. Also, if you are interested in the topic of language, easy to read language, our previous ID Talk language was very much centered around this topic. So you can always go back to ID Talks videos. Maria just sent the link, and also check out the previous one where we were speaking about how to make basic materials with symbols that can be understandable and accessible for everybody. Anything else? Any other comments, questions, or reactions from our speakers, please? We have maybe 2 more minutes for that.
Yes, there was a question about how to adapt the Solidarity project for a specific participant group. So from program point of view, what national agencies require is that there is a certain framework of Solidarity project, like an attributes, what has to be in there. So they are very like flexible and very few, like 5 young people supporting organization, project duration, they are like fixed and not flexible. But everything else, like the topic, what the aims of the project, they are very, very different and unique project by project. So I would say that it is up to the group, informal group of young people, how and what approach their project takes and so on. But if the question was, I don't know, if it was about these specific profile of youngsters that Ieva works with, so maybe you could specify the question and they together with their colleagues could also give you some insights.
Ieva, can I just finish? You could end up with a Solidarity in Lithuania looking like Starbucks. And what you could do is have all these young people being baristas and running the business. It would really surprise so many adults what these young people could achieve. You know, making a cup of coffee, you know, if you look at Starbucks and the fancy words, some of these young people might overtake Starbucks one day. Just an idea. Okay.
Thanks for the idea. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Would be really cool to have some kind of Solidarity coffee label and you enter a coffee shop, Starbucks or any other, and then you see immediately that this person was trained by Solidarity coffee. You know, it's like ambassadors of Solidarity coffee. Yeah, I think by this moment, if you already have answered all the questions from what I remember, we can pass to our last part of our ID Talks, but also to remind our participants that the speakers of today, they will also prepare an article to accompany the ID Talks. And thank you very much for your questions, your comments, your thoughts and ideas, because this will also inform and enrich the future article that you will receive together with the recording of today's video and the final surprise that I am about to reveal. When we get so excited in the process of ID Talks, we very often forget that there is somebody working in the background tirelessly to bring a little magic to life. And this is Olaja, our graphic recorder. And I am very happy to pass you now the floor to reveal what we have today after this amazing conversation with our speakers today.
Thank you so much. As usual, such nice words to introduce me. I am speechless every time. So I'm sharing my screen and yeah, you should be seeing it very soon, hopefully. So yeah, here a bit the tasters. We had such a cool presentation. I really enjoyed because first Karolina kind of guided us a little bit around the basics of Solidarity projects in case some of us were not very familiar with this new rather format. And then yeah, Ieva really took us into a journey of 4 very beautiful stories led by a superhero, a very specific superhero, very motivating one. And here we saw 4 little examples of initiatives that were carried out in the organization, connected with sports, connected with the famous already Solidarity Coffee. Also here we could see different challenges that, not everything is perfect. So we were also part of understanding what were some difficulties that went along the way and how they were overcome. And then also taking a closer look at language, easy language, and how important and a key aspect it is to inclusion and to real inclusion. And then also talking about volunteering in general. So we got to know also Roberta and her story about volunteering in Italy and everything that she got from it in a practical and life experience way. So of course, as usual, this will be finished up and you will get it in your email. But I really want to say thank you to our guests today because it was a really enjoyable experience.
Thank you very much, Olaja. Amazing as always. And now we will slowly start closing today's ID talks. I will be giving the words to our speakers to say some final words, maybe wishes to our audience. And dear audience, before you will be leaving, we will be very happy if you drop a line with your impressions of today ID talk. You just comment even one word describing what you're taking from today's ID talk. Put it in the chat. I see a hand. Monica has raised a hand. Please, Monica, you can have your minute.
Thank you. Do you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Thank you. I'm not Monica. Sorry. I was struggle to listen every moment and why they make my comment. But as I heard, you will close today, and I want to say big thank you. Everyone here caring about people with disability. I'm a volunteer. My name is Birgül, and I'm from Turkey, but now I'm in Lithuania. Yanıoğlu Diana Centras volunteer. And before I come here, when I was in Turkey, we got a before arrival training, and this training, everyone like without disability. And I had a question. I have some friends who have little disabilities, who have strong from family or relatives we know. And I asked a question. I said, I asked our mentor to ask, what about if they want to do that because they have English, they have ability, they are capable for that. They said, we are working on it. If they want to go, they can have referrals, blah, blah, but have this reference also a little bit challenge. And I asked national agency when they come, and they said, of course, we have procedures, we are trying to do that. I mean, when I check, as a national agency part, everything was okay. They have this possibility, but they are not here. Why? Then I understand. This is about with who they are. When I come GDC, I see that here they are really caring these students to not in just this sofa. It was perfect described. They are doing everything, different activities. I'm doing everything with different with them, or even one day, never same with other day. And I see when they go travel, when they return, they feel so efficient. They feel they are alive. They are telling what they did with body language, with Lithuanian, with Little English, or which language they learned. Also, Solidarity Kava, I worked one time just with them, and it was awesome. I see how students feel. I'm sorry for this word, but I am normal, they think maybe. They think I don't have differences with others. They say, oh, I did so awesome coffee. Today it was so good day, efficient day. When we return, I see they are working with big willing. And yeah, thank you still. Who is listening here, who is doing their country, these things, they are caring about these people. And I'm so happy that I'm here, I'm caring them. And I wish their projects will be not just short term, more terms, and more, because I see how they are happy after this project. And thank you before we go.
Thank you so much for sharing your positive energy. And I think This is also an important, interesting perspective from somebody who is visiting. So we had kind of an all-encompassing story today from the perspective of somebody who's funding the project, who's running the project, who's initiating, volunteers, directors. So a huge community around local projects. And I think this is what exactly we wanted to convey, that yeah, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a community to change the mindset. And it's really very humbling to see this, hear these stories. So Ieva, Karolina, you have the final few minutes to say your final few words to our public today.
Yeah, so thank you for everyone for attention. Thank you for listening for our good practices, for Daugvydas stories. I hope Daugvydas inspire you, and I hope next time, I very hope with some of you we can meet in Solidarity Cafeteria in Lithuania. Thank you so much.
Yes, it was very nice to be here today. Thank you, SALTO girls, for the invitation. And as a project coordinator, I feel very, very privileged actually to be working with organizations like these. They keep inspiring me every day. And for now, it's just the best job possible. Yeah, and for the audience, I would like to invite you to spread the message that programs are very nice for mobility project, but they are equally good opportunity for local initiatives and to gather young people around some local issues, to encourage them to fulfill their ideas and come together for the benefit of solidarity. Thank you all.
Thank you very, very much for today. And I just want to remind that the final for this season ID Talk will take place 2 weeks from today on a Wednesday, 1 p.m. Central European time. Please sign up, register, spread the word, and join us. Thank you very much for today, and we hope to see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.